Hi guys, this is James on the Grand. Now, maybe about 2 videos ago, I said I was going to do a poll. One was going to be how to cover water, and the other option was to talk maybe more about the river and ask some common questions. I didn't quite get time to do that, so what I'm going to do is I'll make a video about both. This video is going to be about covering water, how to find the salmon when they are out there. It's very technical, but it could be very simple. I'm going to explain it very simply, and unless you're a guide on the river for years, you have an idea of where salmon might be, where they could hold, but you don't know for sure. So you have to check every square foot of water. So a quick update on the river. We still haven't seen any salmon yet. It's still early. We're still waiting for them to come up the river. I know yesterday we were very optimistic and we were hoping, but you know, this is normal. This is normal, like I said before. So I learned this years ago, and I didn't know it before I started guiding. Whenever I first started fly fishing, my dad had taught me. And when he had taught me, I realized once I started working here, he didn't really know what he was doing, but nobody showed him. It's not his fault. It's not his fault. So I'm going to show you guys. The best way to do this is with a picture. It really is. So I have my river right here. Let's just say it is a flat river, and there are 2 different types of flies you could use if we're going to keep it very simple. There is a wet fly, which is a fly that just sinks, and you want it to sink maybe roughly 6 inches below the surface of the water, just to be under. And then the other option is a dry fly. The dry fly is something that you want to float on the surface. It kind of it really resembles a real bug on the surface of the water. I'm going to tell you the difference between them, and I'm going to tell you how to fish them. So we'll start off with the wet fly. It is the most simple, and most of the fish anybody has ever caught has been on a wet fly. It's very effective. What you do with a wet fly is we have our boat in the water. Let's say it's right here. Bear with me, I'm not a good artist, but you're going to understand. This is the riverside boat, and then we have water shooting right through. These salmon could be anywhere in the river. Let's say that there is a salmon right here, and then we'll put one way back here. Now, inside our boat, we have our anglers, our guests fishing, and they're accompanied by 2 guides. Now, whenever you fish, there's your fishing rod, beautiful. Whenever you fish, these salmon are more than likely somewhere in the river, not moving, resting. So to find this salmon sitting in the river, you have to cover every square foot of water effectively to find them. The best way to do that is to cast 45 next to the bank. Let's say he cast it over here. Your fly is then going to land here, and it's slowly going to float down. Once that fly goes over the salmon's head, he's going to see it, and he's going to come from the bottom of the river and grab your fly. You found that salmon. That's all there is to it. Now, where it gets more complicated, I guess, is your fly is only going to swing to the back of the boat. So after you do that, you're going to have to cast on the other side. When you cast to the other side, same thing. It's like you see in the cartoons, a little compass. Well, your line's going to go beep, 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 beep until it goes over the head of a salmon. And if it goes over the head of the salmon, more than likely the salmon is going to take. Once you finish having your fly swing behind the boat, you are going to pull another foot of line from your rod and cast another foot longer. You're going to do the same thing. Your line is going to do the sweep to the back of the boat, and you will find that there are no salmon here. With that same length of line, you are going to cast farther on this side. Do the sweep. If there are salmon there, it's going to go over their heads. You're going to find them. And it's just repetition. You keep casting, let it sweep, and then you are going to work your way all the way out to another salmon. That's it. That's covering water. The same thing could be done from the shore. If you're fishing on the shore, you do the exact same thing. You cast out maybe to the middle of the pool or as far as you can, and you let it sweep on the inside. Cast out far, let it sweep on the inside. Sweep on the inside. Same thing goes for the other side if you're casting on the other side. That's all it is. You're trying to get that hook over every square foot of water. And the salmon will take when your hook goes over their head. Now let's talk about dry fly. Dry fly is different. So there are many different ways to dry fly, but I am going to show you what my favorite is. You have your salmon here, maybe another salmon here. Work with me, guys, these are my fish. Whenever you dry fly, you are no longer casting a 45 downriver. This would be downriver. You are fishing square. So you will be on the bank, fishing. Use your rod. And you always want to throw square, so it's going to be on a 45 upriver. You're going to throw your line upriver. Boop. When you throw it upriver, you're going to let your line float down the river a few feet, maybe 4 or 5 feet. And then you are going to pull it out. Well, I mean, this one is going to go over the salmon's head, so he's going to take it. But after that, you are going to pull it out, and you are going to do it for the next length as well. A 45. Let it skim down the water a few feet. Pull it out. 45. Skim down the water. Once you have covered this area, you are going to take the next section. You're going to move from this area, move down to the next section of the river, and do the same thing upriver. You see how you're covering all of the water? That's how you find these fish. That's how you find them. So there's dry fly and wet fly. That is really simple. That's the best way I could explain it, how to break it down. But these are the two ways that I fish on the river. This is the way that you're going to teach your guests, and this is the way that you would fish yourself. Now the difference is, with a wet fly, there's no work involved. You're just covering water. The salmon is going to take the hook. It's going to sink in his mouth by itself. There's not really anything you do. You just raise your rod, just lift it gently, and the salmon's on. With a dry fly, it is more difficult. And the reason is, wow, that's not very good, is it? The reason is, I'll tell you. Dry fly is mostly sight fishing. And what I mean by that is most people don't pull out a dry fly unless they could visually see a salmon in the water. This will now be your water depth. This is the height of the water, okay? This is the height of the water. Stick with me. When you dry fly, you're going to cast it. It's going to be on the surface. Right? That's your dry fly. That's your line. Your salmon is going to be down here. Now, the reason why most fish are caught on the wet fly and not the dry fly, People get too excited. They do. They jump the gun. They get way too excited. When the salmon sees that dry fly, he is going to come up, break the water, and grab it. When he grabs it, people are notorious for getting too excited, and they pull the rod, and when they pull the rod, they pull that fly away from the salmon.